We have a resolution. Max sent me a resolution today. And it is 10/22, is that correct? So that'll need read tonight and passed. It's for paving for 2023. Is that correct,
Yeah,
Max? Anything else?
That's just for us to be part of the county resurfacing program. It's what we do every year, so we get some OPWC grant money.
Scratch ordinance 4622. I thought we've already done that one.
Yeah. My fault.
Also on the agenda, there was, well, we're going to add, I need to add the resolution 1022 to the agenda, and we're taking ordinance 5122 off the agenda. We're not going to add it.
51 what?
22. I didn't put it on there because we're going to take it off. Yeah, it's on that. We need to discuss that. And then Sherry has 4922, 5022. Is that correct? Yep, those two need passed tonight. Okay, then we also have 4722 to amend chapter 705 of ordinance of the city of Coshocton, and 1305 to amend. Okay, so I didn't get anything to have those passed tonight, so I guess I'll run the course. We have any other discussions? I know we need to, we'll just start out and we'll start. Max, you want to go over the RHDD alley,
Sure.
please?
So, we got a request RHDD that's up here at 925 and 925 Chestnut. It's the old laundromat. They have the place and they have the old laundromat. There's an alley runs between there. They want to vacate that alley. They're gonna build a new parking lot and stuff in there. And going to talk to Bobby, we really don't need to do a public announcement because they have all the property. They paid their $1,000. I'd like to get that on the agenda for next council meeting if we can. Nice, we pass that 3 readings.
We actually can't because we're going to be down 2 members,
Oh, wow.
so it'll have to run its course till the end of the month.
Okay,
I'm just letting you know. I know there's 2 members not going to be here.
okay, and she's not in a huge hurry on it, but
Okay.
since they got everything.
So it's the alley between Chestnut and Main, between the old laundromat and RHDD.
Yeah,
That's the only turnaround.
Could we do it tonight?
To Main, you're going down.
She don't have all the
up
stuff.
Chestnut. That's the only place you can turn around to go back until you let you go to 7th Street or, and then you've got one-way street. Oak Cove is a one-way street, and then on up, 12th Street's a one-way street. So how far you have to go before you come back to Main? That would be the only issue that I would think. If you follow what I'm saying.
no, I get what you're saying.
Have they done their survey, Max?
Yes,
Do we have it?
I don't have it yet, but she was in the process.
Is she going to get a description? Amy needs
Yeah.
a description on everything before
Yeah.
she can even type.
I
it
don't
out.
have that yet, but they are getting, they've contacted Mr. Zonaker about that.
We can't do the ordinance till we have the survey.
Okay,
You should have.
well, she thought she was in the process of getting that pretty quickly, so I assume she talked now.
I should have.
Right.
Someone put that there for me. Yeah.
Let's put it this way, as soon as we get the survey back, then we'll bring it up here.
Yeah, you'll get,
It's up to you
if
guys.
Amy gets everything to get it typed up, we'll have it on the
All I
agenda.
need is a description. It's done. I just need the description.
Yeah.
And the survey.
The survey.
Well, the survey will have the legal
Description,
description.
yeah.
The ordinance requires of that.
Okay.
I thought I got a map.
Yeah, we
Alright.
had received a map of
Yeah,
this.
a drawing or.
Do what?
Get a drawing.
Remember, we
of it.
received a map, a drawing.
Yeah, she sent a map
Yeah,
with no survey.
that's just, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Max, you have any ordinances for the other ordinances for the next meeting?
That's all I know right now.
Mark?
I don't have anything other than that, the gain, which is already on. So
Yeah. Dave, you have anything?
None that I know of this time.
Jerry?
We'll have the ordinance for the 2023 appropriations to start the process for that. And I can get that to Amy and so forth. We'll just have draft information tonight.
Okay.
The only thing I might bring up is, I guess, for my, the time that I took a short vacation, there was a pond built up in Roscoe.
Filled with trout.
Yeah.
not yet, not yet.
And it's off of Swain. We really don't have anything pond wise in our ordinances that I can find anywhere. I've been in contact with EPA. They've asked me to send some pictures. They really don't feel it's an issue that they're going to deal with. Mark and I was up there today. The problem is the drainage
No
goes
water.
over the county. It drains like up above the Roscoe cabins.
So
You know
it
where
drains to
Roscoe
the
cabins are at?
township out of the incorporation,
So
right?
basically, there's a swale up there. You can picture two pieces of ground, kind of like this. This guy's made a pond in there. He's gonna build a house. They were looking at the pond. And the overflow goes down. You can see where all the water is draining for years in that area, and then it goes into a creek. It goes out to 495.
But the pond is in the city.
The pond is in the city.
Can we add the word pond to our pool ordinance and cover both? They need a fence around it?
Who's going to enforce it?
Count one at the Oaks. Never had a fence. Can't think of any other, but then we have to define what pond is.
Right.
A lot
How
of
big,
people-
how
big,
deep?
right.
Yeah.
We got one right out here by the river, don't we? I mean,
Yeah.
I guess we don't worry about
Yeah, I mean, is there something you want done about it or? is there
No, I
something-
mean, I just wanted to let you guys know that I did follow up with
Right,
the ODNR will be involved if it was a larger dam. The dam doesn't meet the size of what. We've got another area that's, people are talking about building a pond in front of their house.
Well, that actually, so it creates one less issue because it was a mowing issue because it always stays wet in there.
That court right
Yeah,
property.
oh, right.
Yeah, so
You could run
takes
mud
that
because it
one
was
away
damp
now.
all the time, so this will incorporate that spring into the
Mhm.
pond. I mean, once they get the house built and everything, it's gonna be a very nice lot and everything, but we just never really had a pond. EPA, they said, well, we're more into retention basins, like, think about the grain company, that low area, that's a retention pond, even though they're covering water and a big rain, it will hold water back, not overcome storm sewer. But just in case anybody would ask, Mike, I followed up with all the people I know to follow up with, there's really not a lot to do about it, so. I probably should bring up to about, I'll let Dave talk more on to where we're at with Warsaw, in case you guys. are
Yeah, we'll get to
interested.
him.
Okay. Don't want to forget that.
No other ordinances? Other than what Sherry's going to present? Okay. Sherry? We all got the email in your report, so.
To jump back for tonight on ordinance 4922. I can ask during the council meeting, or if you can make note. Section 3 is CDBG home funds, appropriation of $10,000. I would like to ask that that amount be amended to $16,500. And Amy, you can just, mark it out and handwrite it on there and initial, that's fine, but, council would have to approve. CDBG, Higher Regional Development, they send, we're just basically their fiscal officer. So they send, and she brought up more today, invoices that they need paid, and I just simply do not have enough appropriations for them. If I would have had those last week, I would have added it to that 10,000, but if I can have you amend that, then that way I don't have to come back in 2 weeks, so
Can you go over that during
I can
council?
remind you that in
Yeah.
council, yeah. And then let me find. So just totally 100% draft. of 2023 appropriations. I'm not sure how many copies I printed off. There were a few requests that I thought I'd let you guys, since it's council's good. Council, take a look at. I do want to first say municipal courts, I don't have figures for them, just because they haven't returned I emailed the judge again today. I had asked a request to be sent to me on the 12th, and I still do not have municipal court. So with their wages and so forth, I pretty much have those, but anything else, I just don't have their information yet.
Taking the court.
Taking the court, that's right. I'll just start. I have a few highlighted in yellow. Let me find my other sheet here. Did I? Oh, sorry, that's the wrong
You're
thing.
supposed to have it memorized.
That's the wrong thing. A few items highlighted in yellow. For the mayor's service director, their requests, a couple different property maintenance requested. When something doubles or goes up significantly, I try to let you know. So property maintenance was typically at 25, and they requested 50,000 for it this year. I did highlight our town Coshocton because I know Lanning made an appeal to you, so I thought I'd let you make the determination there. General admin engineering, that is a increase. Oh my gosh, what was it normally? $3,600, but explanation with that, as we all know, Harold Hitchens passed away, and he did a lot of stuff, and didn't even charge us. So we know we're going to have to pay for engineering more so than what we normally do.
So back to our town, the 10 that you have highlighted is the 10 we currently,
Yes,
and I think Lanny requested 10 additional.
We
Is
have
that correct?
10, yeah.
I just don't recall. I don't recall.
Then the property maintenance demolition went from 25 to 50,
25 to 50.
and that was at Mark's request, or
Mark's request, Max's request. Yes,
and what's the explanation behind that?
I will let them answer. And then I will also add, Mark has requested a line item, and I need more clarification on that. General admin consulting, $110,000. So I'll turn it over to them and let them, hash those two things out for you
That,
guys.
the consulting would be to retain SPP for their contract. I don't have a total. I don't have any cost for this coming year, so that's what that request would be for. Property maintenance and demolitions. If there would be something we could get our hands on and our hands wouldn't be tied if we wanted to tear something down. So that would be for that, or for cleanup. What else comes
Outside
up?
mowing.
Right, outside mowing. I think this coming year.
Is that gonna be part of the contract money then?
So you're saying if we were to contract with a mowing service?
Yes, and what our idea, and we're not unique because Max talked to a county commissioner today. They couldn't find any seasonal help. So what we're thinking is to bid it out as the bridge package, because we're paying a contract to mow that. And then also on-demand mowing, kind of, we need this lot mowed, go here. That way we don't have to, if people show up, they don't show up. It's just getting harder and harder to find that college student or that part-time person with the way the job market is. So kind of put that in.
We pay them, the mowers that we have, the college kids, we pay them minimum wage.
I think they're like 12, I think it's
Do they
12
get
bucks
any,
there.
any benefits?
They would get PER, would they get?
Well, they have to. I
Right.
mean, we're mandatory that we do PRS. So
What,
it's not
Sherry,
really
what was our past cost for our summer mowing help, you think?
Oh, Roger, I don't think I can tell you off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
I just like to know so
Because
we can compare that. with-
we appropriate,
Not
I
saying we don't
think,
need it.
let me find the line item. There is a property code seasonals that we appropriate 10,000 into. So there's a separate line item already for that in place to pay them.
Right, so I mean.
So
it
I don't-
really
you
will
know,
give
that
us
would be-
just that cushion and that, and it would give us an option if we had something that we need the demo,
We'll take trees down as part of that as well.
right, we
I mean, it
take
might be,
trees, right,
maybe want to increase the, if it's going to be for individuals mowing, you're going to want to increase the general admin property seasonals 10,000, because we'll pay them from that line item and not out of property maintenance demolition.
right, and if that's 10,000 there, if we make property maintenance demolitions 40,000, we have 10,000 we can cover it, so. But,
So
yeah, I mean, if.
your request would be
Well, I just-
40
I
up
would
in
just-
demolition and 20 down
Curious
below
what we were
in
spending
seasonal.
already to
Right.
compare
No,
that.
and that's, I'd like to know that.
I
as
can get
well,
that
but
for you. I just
yeah.
don't know it off the top of my head.
And just because we appropriate it doesn't mean we have to spend it all.
You sound like me.
And I know we
So,
talked about
right.
possibly hiring a mowing service, which might be more advantageous.
I
Or
think,
cost more, but we're gonna get more
And the
things
street
done.
department already pays for a mowing service, you know, the Cloverleaf area. and so forth.
and I don't think that, I think as far as skill wise, equipment wise, like I said, just if we can call a service and say within 2 days, you know, because we're 7 days out already, you know, with someone getting a warning, so let's, like, if you can do it within the next 2 days, it will just keep it, it'll streamline it. We won't have to worry, is someone gonna show up or they're not gonna show up, so.
You said the admin was SPP,
Yes,
so
like I said, I do not have a cost for them. I don't have a proposal for next year.
When's that up?
I would say probably March. I don't know off the top of my head. I would say probably February, April, March.
March, April.
Yeah, March, yeah, somewhere in there. I would say March or April.
So I'll let you guys mull that over and I'll keep going here. Excuse me. Your next highlighted is actually falls under mine, auditor salary. I actually have that line reduced a little bit, but what I did, if you just come right down and see the next highlight, income tax assistant administrator. I would like to, one of my staff members is, I am gonna have her start cross-training. Because I know, you know, Jackie and I've talked, we have to be realistic that at some point she's gonna retire. And so I want to get Erica over there to really start cross-training with her to get her into place to, you know, as long as that still all flows, is for her to become then, you know, the next tax administrator, is my plans and my goals, with her. But, so I would like to split and create, income tax administrator down below. And what I would do is just, you know, half the salary there, up in the auditor line and in the income tax, create a new income tax assistant administrator. And then with that, I'll have to have you, in November or December before the year end, adjust the wage ordinance to add that title in there. So
that's in preparation for a retirement.
to get training there, yes.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and I did have somebody who I thought maybe was gonna come into the office, but one of the health department girls, but I think she might be going to another department, so, you know, with the consolidation there, so right now, I'm gonna keep my office, the two, you know, my deputy auditor and my clerk, but my clerk's just gonna become that assistant administrator also, income tax administrator. If you, On page 3, you'll see out the total there, 5,260,000. That's where the appropriations are at without our, without including Mark's 110 request. If you go back to our budget for 2022, I have the expenses estimated at this year, 4,463,000, which the previous 2 years, they've been right under $5 million. And like Mark said, and like I've said many times before, we typically never spend all our appropriations. But we just have to be aware, where our revenue's at, and our expenses do keep climbing. In 22, the estimate, I adjusted it for the budget hearing with what we reduced our expenses for, using the ARPA funding, that 571,000. That's how I can get those expenses down to the 4.4 million, because I reflected that there. So, I'm hopeful we'll finish the year $900,000. But going forward for next year, realistically, our expenses are going to be right close up to that 5 million. Even though if we're going to take us up to 5.3, we're still going to be close to, that in revenue or expenses, excuse me. And if our revenue holds the same, about 4.4 million, 23, we could look at, $200,000-300,000 where we'll be down to in our general fund. So just to be aware of that, going forward.
Charity, I don't know what page it is, next last page under water port authority, what is that?
Water Port Authority, yes, highlighted on down through. That is typically where we have always in the water fund and the sewage fund. I forgot, I didn't highlight that one. Just a few down from it. Those two funds have always contributed to the Port Authority for economic development, $20,000.
So it's 40 total.
Yes, and then the other portion, I believe it's 15 out of yours, Mark. Is that general admin? Sorry. Yeah, general admin, Port Authority, 15,000.
So it's
So a total of
55
55, yes.
Okay. So why is that highlighted under water port authority?
I think initially because, I highlighted initially because it wasn't included in Dave's appropriations. So I think when I was just going through, I did that. And I highlighted up above the water admin expense is going at actual this year per ordinance, the 4 months salary and PRS of elected officials and the service director comes in at the 158,845. And that's the same down into the sewage fund also. I did highlight on the last page, 804 bid bond and insurance. You don't typically see that $1 million appropriated in there. But that is the fund that when there is a fire, the insurance company, the amount that Rusty can even comment on it more, that they are required to send to the city comes here and is held until it's released. And the big, huge bulk of all that is for the Grace United Methodist Church. So once that gets done and the fire chief says it's good to go, we refund that, we send them that money back. But in the meantime, it has to be held here in that bid bond insurance fund. So I went with the assumption that next year it'll probably get released. So I went ahead and appropriated what's in there. Would you say, Rusty, or do you think it'll be next year?
We're currently holding escrow on 3 places, 9 Vine, the church, and then the house on High Street. And I would say that $1 million, majority of it's the church.
Yes,
Hopefully by the end of next year, we can release that. Once they get to the point where the outside's pretty well cleaned up and they're working inside. Because that's money that they use to redo it, so I don't want to hold money that they're needing to redo it, as long as they get to a point where we're happy with it. It's basically the whole in case a property does not get remediated, we can use it to do what we need to with it.
yeah. If there's a property that never takes care, you can use that money to demo it or whatever needs to be done or fix
Basically,
it.
2,000 for every $15,000 worth of claims with the formulas.
So I wanted to highlight that for you, just so you can see.
Last page underneath that, just for my clarification,
Mhm.
I'm not real bright, so again, my name's education. The JED, that's for our Port Authority and the JED, the money's there, is that what they receive from JED monies, or what is that?
That is-
83,000 and the
Yeah.
10,000.
And I increased that, because especially the JED Tusk with, anticipation of, the Genesis complex opening up. So we collect the tax money that gets split out between the township, the Port Authority. The general fund is actually the portion for our city general fund in the fire, what goes to the fire and the safety security fund. And the project fund is what was established under the contract last time, that I think it's 10% each distribution when you get your quarterly reports. So that's the money that comes in, through the quarter and then gets dispersed quarterly.
And we get it back out.
Yep. And I adjusted accordingly, to the best, I'll say, guesstimate for what the JED revenue will be. And even on the budget for, this year and next year, I already increased based off of estimated payroll that I received from the Port Authority of what that should generate out there. Unless you have any other specific questions, pretty much most of the stuff, throughout the base of it, there wasn't anything significant in, fire fund. The American Rescue will go away unless, I kept the line items there, unless they do another reallocation. I just don't know if they will or not. If they get people, we did last year like $2,300, or this year, excuse me. Street, there wasn't any significance there.
So under
Changes.
the first page, under health,
Mhm.
we still list a director of nursing, clerk, nurse, blah, blah.
What I did there, Roger, is just in case, we will still have some probably payroll, maybe that crosses over from the end of the year to the first. Thinking that I just wanted to have a little something there in case there are any bills dated December that are
Okay.
still our responsibility.
And then our contract with the county is for 150.
150 for this year, for
Okay, what-
2023.
I know it's water over the dam at this point, but what was our expenses that we incurred when we had our own health department?
Well, I didn't bring that report, but normally about 470 around
400?
there. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking.
And then you have figure in 100,000 that we got in revenue, so.
I could look at the budget,
So
but
370, we're first year, just a good number, we're going to save 200,000.
That's why I'm asking.
Is the can we agree on that, Sheriff?
yeah, I think our savings I think the savings
I
was
think
two
it's-
something.
It's like
and
230, but
Yes.
it's been a weird spread with COVID and with the way the numbers look, because there's been numbers.
It
are
is
all over
because
the place.
we've gotten grant money in,
Right,
so
so
that
it's
we've been
been-
able to use stuff for that.
A good number's
All right, thank
200,000.
you.
I just can't look at right here, public health, because I'm still estimating 676,671 is usually public health for personnel services, but that also includes cemetery. So our cemetery, it's about 400,000 is what, 400 or 500,000 now, appropriation wise. So, yeah, I'm
And
sorry.
that-
I always
and
have
that's
so many
really-
figures between
Yeah.
this
No,
and
it's
this.
just-
Sometimes I
I
can't.
just want to make sure we were having a
I
pretty
can-
substantial savings.
It is.
It
It will be. Yeah. Because the
It's not
contract is
questionable.
just for 10 years and
Yes.
increases like 2% or 3%
I think
per
it
year,
increases 3%.
3% a year,
Yeah.
each year.
And we're hopefully working is to a countywide levy on health department. So countywide, that's usually typically how they are funded through the state of Ohio. So at some point.
So let me go back and ask you, property maintenance and demolition. Would you like that at 40,000 and then me increase the seasonal mowing up to 20? Or do you want the demolition maintenance still at 50 and the other 20? Because I heard conversation that it would be used for mowers also, and if so, I need to capture those under that correct number.
I mean, to me, it's however you want to do it. I mean, if you
So you
want
can
to do,
only pay mowing out of the property code seasonal.
Yes, because what these do, these codes in the middle and at the end, they all indicate and pull over into our financials differently, like personnel services, contract services, supplies and materials. So if it is to pay a seasonal employee, I need to capture them under that correct number.
Would that, Sherry, would that be the same if we were to contract with a mowing company?
They would be contract service. They would be, and then if you're gonna do with a company, then I can keep it under the property maintenance. But if it's gonna be an employee, I need to capture them under the seasonal as that.
So is that
So it's
something?
gonna be
that-
a business. Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
It's gonna be a,
So if we're moving towards that, more towards that, then keep it under the property maintenance, right?
Keep it there and keep the
If that's
seasonals
what
at
we're
10.
probably going.
Okay.
yeah, and then just keep that at 10, and then that way it gives us an option. Either or, right?
And what is your then, do you want me to add the 110? I mean, that's totally your guys' decision. That was Mark's request here.
well, since you're asking that, sorry to interrupt. you,
No,
Sherry.
no.
I gave you guys can all read the September update from SPP. I will tell you this, they work hand in hand with Lanny. I mean, it's,
How much,
Lanny's in on,
Tom, do you know how much money SPP has been able to arrange for the
that would
city
be
to
the
receive?
mayor and
Well, I
Lanny.
mean, right off the top with Roscoe and with downtown, they paid for themselves last year. I think it was
Didn't they get a grant for the
60.
sorry, to
Yeah,
interrupt, for the sidewalks?
60,000.
Yeah, when are they gonna fix those?
We can.
The city's doing their
No,
sidewalks?
there
No,
has to-
we're-
We're going to bid that out as a spring project.
that has
That has
to
to
be
be
bid.
Davis Bacon wages and everything. So
Right,
that's gonna
with
be
the-
bid.
Okay.
That's right. So right now, I believe Roscoe was 60, downtown was 40 or 45, Lanny got, so,
45.
right, 45.
I knew
so-
early fall, we said it did pay for themselves.
Right, yeah. And I mean, there's also other things that are bigger than that, the OWDA loan, things that they're working on that are in the millions of dollars. So I would say that they've more than paid for themselves. And just request that as long as they keep working for us, that we keep them.
And the other nice thing is it is month to month, so you can terminate them. We can terminate them, but I agree with Mark right now is that, they are working, I think they're working very diligently for the city.
Yeah, and I mean, when you look at redistricting, they've connected us to everyone who is going to potentially be representing us. They have a good relationship with the State House, and pretty much any organization. We are doing a marketing video through SPP. There are things still happening, so it's not like, I would say being involved with them for 1 year, we've done pretty well. We have Ohio Builds money coming, which now has a new name. I don't know if it's a grant. It's called something different. It's Ohio Builds is what I'm going to call it. We still have ARPA funding that is where people have not used it, where there's a possibility, like EMS has a new station that there was some extra. So there's funding out there, they're involved, and really just think that it's a no-brainer. It is a lot of money. It's a sizable amount of money. But I think we get what we pay for.
Just for clarification, the $45,000 for our town went directly to our town. It doesn't
Yes,
come through
right,
here.
no,
It came
right, it
to-
went to, right.
Tom, I know you guys, our town is doing a study on how much the businesses prospered from the concerts. Has there been any final numbers on that, or?
From what we determined, it's close to $250 million.
I guess I'd suggest if our town's helping to bring in $250,000, it would hurt us to maybe give them more money to work with.
I mean, I don't have a vote, but I almost think that that's a no-brainer for what they're doing for,
How many of the
I mean, they
businesses,
just started. They've only been at it since April or May. So you think about what they've done in just a short time.
Chad said they're going to add a concert next year.
Yeah, we're gonna do 4.
How many of those businesses who have gained income from that have contributed to our town?
I'm gonna say 3.
And with that, don't forget, if you're gonna increase the 10,000 to our town.
That's what I'm asking.
Oh,
What's
that was it. I thought you're still on SPT.
everybody else want to do?
Sorry.
I think yes. Yes. So yes to the
Right.
SPP
Oh.
Definitely.
or
We're
to
doing
our
great.
town?
Should we
To
go?
both of them.
Yeah.
Let's do them
Right.
both,
Yeah.
Sherry.
Okay. well,
Yeah, but-
I just need to know what's
We're
going on.
getting our money's worth from SPP.
Yeah.
I think they're both providers. I mean,
And
you know.
obviously our town benefited,
Mhm.
they benefited our downtown and our businesses tremendously, so.
Okay, so I will add the appropriate account number for SPP for $110,000. It'll be fall under contract services. What is your request for our town Coshocton?
20,000.
20
Just
total.
make it 20 total.
Tom was thinking 50, but yeah.
I was only thinking 25.
I really can't think of much else. The sheriff contract line item did go up, obviously, because, the contract went up. Plus, the revenue is pretty consistent, that what comes into the safety security. So, under the 112, page 3, I kept the sheriff contract at 1.6 million. The safety security liaison, Jeff's, what we remit to the sheriff there for that position, $70,360. And then security services, that's basically camera work, anything that the city needs, safety security wise, 15,000. So safely, I feel like I can only appropriate that 1,685,000. So that's where the general fund has to pick up the balance of the sheriff's contract. I always need to leave a cushion in there at the end of the year so we can pay that first contract payment in, the 1st of January. So I always have to have a little carryover. Other than that, unless if you have any other specific questions, I'll, go down through this a little bit, more. And municipal court, I don't know what he'll need with his special projects fund and that, but obviously I'll make it to where it will be in compliance with his budget and everything, his revenue. Sorry. Hey, no, it's only 10 after 6. Plenty of time.
Anybody else have anything to share?
I just like to thank her for setting up the health fair day.
You're welcome. Well, you know what? I have to give credit to Erica and Chris and my staff members who do a great job with that. Chris with the schedule and Erica did all the ordering of the breakfast this year from Bueller's. So that was nice to have some hot food. So.
And brag on yourself about your auditor's report.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Oh, well, yes, for our audit, we received the Auditor State Award again this year for good clean audit. And I always say it just doesn't take the auditor's office, it actually takes all the departments and the department heads to make sure they do everything, in compliance. And we just, in my office, we try to catch anything that might be incorrect and get it, what's right. So no, we really try hard to get that.
Or it takes a good mayor talking to state auditor's office.
Yeah.
No,
Trying to
no.
convince them.
I went to bat for
Right.
I went to bat for you.
I did get
I went to
a,
bat for you. We're all good. So 2 years in a row.
text
Right.
Saturday from a group that was traveling through Pennsylvania, and they got off the turnpike, I think, to take a break, and they sent me a picture of the Coshocton Chamber of Commerce program with Sherry and Greg on the front of it. That's in Pennsylvania, so
Yeah.
they're,
Well, I heard it was also in a Red Roof Inn in Mercer, PA too.
so they're well known. They-
Yeah, hey,
Yeah.
can we get the other part of that story?
The visitor's guide.
Okay.
Did you
Yeah.
leave it there?
No, I don't even know where Mercer, PA is.
We have any property maintenance things we want to go over?
I just had one question, Jeff, the bank lot, I had another person say something, ask me about it today, and at the corner of Pine and Second. The old bank lot,
But they're supposed to start working on that November the 1st. They're going to start tearing that building down.
Yeah, it's gonna be a brand new.
It's gonna be brand new.
I know we talked about last week, I thought it was gonna get mowed.
Well, I think now they're feeling that if they're gonna start moving dirt in a week,
Okay.
they were gonna pay somebody to mow it.
Yeah, if they know, we'll.
I mean, if I gave them the 7 days, it's gonna be like 2 more days before we start tearing things.
All right. Well, and then-
Anything else? Infrastructure, utilities,
Verizon.
Dave?
Any questions, first of all, from the monthly report?
Good. Where are we at on the fire hydrants?
I've talked to Rusty, he's just finished up flushing. He's gonna prioritize those with our limited parts. We'll do his critical ones first. We've been doing a half a dozen. We've got some of the critical ones. And as soon as
What are we down to, Rusty?
Dexter is out actually verifying after we got done flushing, so I'll have a better number for you. We just got done flushing this week, and we're gonna prioritize them and get them down. And he's actually gonna go out and check each one that's on our list to make sure we're not giving bad data today. So I'll
Okay,
get that.
Max, you get a hold of Devonna Markley for a painting. We got community service lined up for fire hydrants.
Well,
Yeah, no, we.
I
No,
don't know
we-
how it went today because when I talked to her today and she was going to get out and talk to Angie, I know we have paint and I told her, well, if you need, we have an account at our hardware. Just go ahead, brushes and wire brushes, just get them and they're going to try to paint some tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So,
Kids.
Russ, I have a question,
Sure.
and I don't know whose responsibility is, but who, to paint those, do we really want to rely on the community to paint those, or? I'm asking you,
In
Rusty.
our experience, it takes a tremendous amount of time and know how to do them correctly. You can't just use a wire brush and sand down, or it only lasts.
So we're sending kids out there to do,
Yeah, we typically, the ones that we did at the fire station, we would probably spend an hour with a drill and a wire brush on the end of a drill, getting everything off of it, and then 2 and 3 coats on. So doing them correctly takes a tremendous amount of time, and will probably take somebody to teach them.
so where should we go with this?
My recommendation is not to wire brush them first of all, because those older hydrants will contain lead-based paint, so you have that issue to deal with. I've actually tried, to find a contractor to paint them, and that's not a good option yet, because the price per hydrant was anywhere from $250 to $1,000 per hydrant because of the lead-based paint issues to try to sandblast them. So we're gonna have to wet blast them, I think, to get all that loose scale off. So we're still looking at different options, but wire brushing is not my recommendation because of potential lead paint issues.
So when you say we, who are you talking about? I mean,
Distribution, it's
so right now,
distribution.
should we be sending kids out there?
It is
So we need to
distribution's
cancel that.
respons- The hydrants are distribution's
There are
responsibility, maintenance,
responsibility.
fixing them, They are their responsibility. That's by higher by school.
Yeah, so, first thing, we've got to get them fixed, and next year I'm trying to work on a plan to get them painted. But it just won't
So
happen.
we shouldn't send kids out there? Is
We
that
should
what you're
not,
saying?
that's my recommendation, not to send kids out there to do that.
We let community members paint hydrants the last several years.
I know, that's what
If
I'm
we don't want
asking.
to, then we need to quit doing it.
Well,
They look better after they get them done, yes.
Right.
And to me, anything is.
they look
better
like
than how they
crap
are
now, and if we've ignored them this long, I can't imagine we're gonna get it taken care of next year. That's just.
Oh, there's what, 848 hydrants?
What'd you say?
848. There's 848 in the city.
I don't know how many of those kids could paint in a day, but if it was even 6, it would look better than 6 that weren't painted.
If you're gonna do that, just have them go out and put
Yeah,
paint
just-
on them
yeah,
versus
don't-
wire brushing.
Don't wire brush them?
Well, that's what we were gonna do, I think.
Okay,
That would make them look a little better, but, I don't want them exposed,
yeah. I just wanted some clarification on this because this has been over a year that we've been talking about getting these things painted and stuff. I mean, that's fine. I mean, I'll have our kids do it because we get out of school.
Right.
So,
And they need community service hours.
Yeah. yeah, they get a seal for their diploma.
Can I jump back real quick? When you said fire hydrants, it made me think, you'll see that I did have highlighted here, water capital improvement fire hydrants, and I just have yellow. I don't have an amount in there because I wanted to check, remember the $200,000 that we reduced the expense reclassified for ARPA to saying that. I wanted to see where Dave was at already with what has been spent, what's encumbered, and then just appropriate the remaining of that 200. So I need to find out that amount. So I will add that in there. I'm sorry, I missed that. I had it. Roger.
And the new water meters, where are we at with those
we're about 22% of our total meters replaced so far, so
in town?
in time, overall,
Yeah.
our total population. We're continuing to gear up, last month, I think we got 70 some, so not as many as we should be getting, but with everything else, it's one of the trends are going in the right direction.
So are you doing this in quadrants or are you just, how are you?
Well,
picking
how
and
we're doing the
choosing?
water meters is we have, from history, we'll say, there was a list of, we'll say the JED meters, and there's a list where we call everybody at estimates. We go on that list next to try to minimize the overall amount of work. We have also meters where we may only have to change the radios out, so a lot of it's depending on what inventory I have in stock at that point in time. Because, we did order some material, about 70,000, because we got some of that material in. We got a half dozen hydrants on order, but they're like 20 some weeks out. So but that's why we need to really prioritize the critical ones and knock those off first.
And the delinquent bills?
Yeah, one of the drivers there, you see a note there, one of our larger industrial users. When we change that meter out, we get an account number change. They use a third-party billing service. That information did get to them from that company, so they're a month behind, so that shows up in the overdues, but it'll take another month for it to clear. They're good for it, it's just a timing issue.
Do we have very many customers or residents taking advantage of your recommendations about a payment? plan
Yeah, and I want to
on
bring that up
Hoco?
again. We've actually had probably double the number of people that tried to start signing up for the payment plans. That's helped. That'll eventually get them off that red tag list. So, and the HOCO just got some new funding with some new guidelines. So we're sending people there. That is appearing to help a little bit.
As long as we get them signed up and get a plan.
Yes.
Dave, any thought of our late fees? Because it's always a 10% of the bill. So like, some people just continually can't keep up.
And those are
Because
the ones
it's
we
usually-
refer to the payment plan. Because
Okay.
once they sign on the payment plan, we actually no longer charge them a red tag or a late fee as long as they honor their payment plan.
Right.
So we actually create a new
Mhm.
account to track that. Now, the moment they don't honor their payment plan, we're going out and cranking them off. But most people that sign up for the payment plan actually do honor it. And that's how they can get off of that
Right.
proverbial, list.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that's maybe showing, I hope what I can see is there, the last 2-3 months, the red tag is starting to flatten a little bit. Maybe it's, another month or two, a little more day, see if it's starting to come down. That means those programs are working.
Did you print something on the water bill? I think you did, didn't you?
Yes,
Yeah.
and we put it on, I think, again on this month. We'll continue to run that advertisement for a couple more months.
Didn't you put something on there for Jeff as well?
That's gonna be on next month. We missed the window last time, but Jess asked us to put something on
He's
about
busy.
covering campers. I'm gonna get
Yeah.
the exact wording from him, but you know,
Okay. Anybody else? Safety services, anybody have anything? Parks, we hear anything about the safe path to schools? We still set spinning our wheels
So,
in the
I was
cloud?
going to tie that into our, railroad trail project.
Right.
Kind of stalled out on that, so, we probably need to utilize that on sidewalks somewhere. I'm not sure, the specifics, but we need to get on safe routes to schools.
Port Authority update. Tom, you and Mike met with Port Authority.
We did. We had a good meeting with Tiffany and with Paul Prater. Very informative. We received a kind of an outline of the meeting from Tiffany, and I'd be glad to email it to you. I think there's nothing in here that we can't email to all of you, so you can go over this. They're very, very busy, and they really appreciate continued support from the council. So I don't know if there's anything, Tom, you had anything to add?
She did mention that she would like to come to council maybe quarterly to give a report.
Okay.
Any update on the theater? Or the plastics plant possibility?
Probably nothing I should say in an open meeting because we signed a waiver. So
All right. Answer that.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Mr. Mayor?
you need a booster seat.
I need to, no, I'm low riding. It's been a just crazy last couple weeks. Meeting, met with SPP, our future representative, possibly, Daryl Kick, who's from the Loudonville area, will represent, I believe it's the 98th district is the new district. So he will be replacing Kevin Miller. After the election, there is an election. So just been meeting with both sides and just getting familiar with people. SPP actually arranged that one. Made a trip to Worcester last Monday with Port Authority Director Swaggart, and just talking development and how their model in Wayne County worked and how they attracted and retained. Met with the CEO of a warehousing company who is the former director of their Chamber of Commerce. And Wayne County's Chamber of Commerce is the largest in the state of Ohio. So it was a good meeting. Excellent ideas, just talked everything from, different options, tax incremental financing, CRAs, how they attracted businesses. So just a lot of good information there. Visited their downtown, looked around. It's nice. Excited for our downtown to look like that soon. Visited the state fire academy with Chief Dreher Tuesday. It was cold, but we had a good time. And we have a fireman that will be complete, I think, the end of the month. Have his fire 2 training completed, and just important to see that facility. And there are different options when you complete fire training, and I would say that is probably the best place to get your training. So it was a good time other than being freezing cold. Ridgewood Drive, we had an issue with Egyptian wheat and a tree stand. That has been resolved. I believe the tree stand will be removed November 14th. I have too many dates in my head. So that is taken care of. That is a large landowner up there that just didn't realize that we had ordinances, so. The trash contract, I talked briefly with Councilman Moore on that. It's getting close and we need to figure out which direction we're going. We do have a 3-year extender on our current contract, and I would like to talk more about that probably off public record. See, I'm learning slowly. Leaf pickup, we have a leaf pickup schedule. If anyone needs to know where the Conrail Railroad is, there's actually, I like the comments on Facebook. There's actually a map where the different zones are. And our strategy is to go every 2 days to a different zone. The weather plays into all that. I want to let people know if you need your leaves picked up and you feel like the city didn't pick them up last year, or you don't know which railroad you live in between, or if you live south, north, east, or west, email Angie.Williamson@cityofcoshocton.com, and she can arrange for our leaf truck to come pick your leaves up. So if you guys have anyone, refer them to Angie at Public Works and we will get you on the list, but they're trying to stay in the zone for 2 days instead of run over here to run over here. So if you're left out or you feel left out, it's not intentional, and we are ready to pick your leaves up. Yodel community calendar it's starting to be planned, and implementation should be by the end of the year. Amy Crown, the chamber director, has taken a lead, I believe, on that project. So that will be coming true. So when we have like everything on one day of the weekend, like maybe we could like spread it out to a different weekend. I know we had a busy one this weekend. Wanted to remind residents as well, cover furniture if you want the trash to pick it up, and we have free bags at City Hall. Last week in my neighborhood, there's a couple of issues, but I handed a resident a bag myself and said, put this on this couch on Wednesday, because if trash day's Thursday and you put it on there Monday, for some reason people rip those bags and then Kimball doesn't pick it up. So the night before, put your furniture in a bag. Kimball will pick it up, and we offer free bags at City Hall in my office. So come talk to Bob, come talk to me, and I'll get you a bag and cover it up that way. Talk to Jeff today, and if the couple issues that I've seen, they're not taken care of, what we do is we will have someone pick it up, and it will cost you a lot more. So we want to try to help people out as much as we can. We get you big furniture, but put it in a bag, has to be completely covered. If you see something wrapped and it's not your couch, don't rip the plastic off, because then we have to deal with it. So leave it alone. It's in the trash. You don't need a used mattress. Leave it wrapped, please, please, please. Health department merger, as far as on the city's end, is complete. We need word from the county. Their outside attorney talked to our outside attorney. I think everything's good. There were a couple ands and ends and with ends that needed changed, but overall, everything's good. Just need to get word from the county that it is completely officially approved, which I think we're very close. And I think that's it. If anyone has any questions.
Anybody else? Max?
You guys made it easy on me.
I
Thanks.
don't have a lot besides what we talked about already. I would like Dave to comment on the Warsaw project.
Before you get started, I have something for you. Will you please have somebody look at the stop sign on the southeast corner of Cambridge and Ensley? It is at a 45-degree angle. It looks like Appalachian Township.
Same with the Woodcrest Lane overlook, it's gonna fall on a car or on a kid waiting on the bus. It's,
I call it about that if we talk to it.
Okay,
it's ready
thank
to
you.
fall totally. Like it's Tom walking at the park.
Tom Mills.
Dave?
Okay, on the Warsaw Waterline Project, Warsaw Village, excuse me, Village Council last Wednesday actually passed a resolution agreeing that they want to continue. That's good. Understanding also that they're going to be picking up the costs and they're not looking at any other options other than a water line from the city of Coshocton. So that starts really the ball rolling. So where we're at right now, we had a design engineering loan application in to OEPA for basically $1 million. That's for the design costs, which are 50% principal forgiveness. So in other words, it's $500,000 there. Also has agreed, that they're responsible for that cost. So where we're at right now is we just got emails back from the high EPA, default they call it, Department of Financial Assistance, saying that money may not be available until January, which is different than we originally told that it was going to be available in early December. Because we need to get the design done to keep all the timelines moving by sometime in March. So that doesn't give the engineer much time. So they're looking at different options. One, they're going to go back to OEPA. We just had this conversation earlier in the day saying, can you move that up? Because if not, with $1 million worth of engineering being spent in 4 months, that's a lot of money out there for somebody to carry. So we've got to figure that out. The other thing, Warsaw understands that the contract will be basically the same language, minor tweaks as the West Lafayette contract. Other than the big issue is they're going to have a debt reduction fee. They understand that our water rates will be what our residents pay, and that was similar to the West Lafayette deal. So the question is, once all the grants come in that we can get, if it leaves X amount of money, they're trying to come up with an option on how they want to pass that debt reduction fee on to their customer base. And they have about 330 taps in the village of Warsaw. We intend to pick up the Riverview High School on the way. We need part of their ground for a water tank out there. But their debt reduction fees, depending on final project costs, how much grant money, and it's kind of a lot of moving parts, could be anywhere from an additional $25 a month up to $60 a month. They understand that, and they didn't seem to be too concerned about it because they feel that's going to still be cheaper than building their own plant. So those wheels are starting to move a little faster in the last week or so. The key thing was them, passing their resolution to say, yes, we understand we want to continue, and we understand we need to pay for the cost, so there's nothing added on to our residents here in the city.
I had conversations today with Chuck Rinkus. They're highly motivated. They want the water line and installation of the tower on their property will be no issue at all. He said. He's wanting to work maybe with you and I haven't told you this yet, next week or two, and possibly Tiffany. See if there's some of this new grant money that's coming out for Appalachian schools for infrastructure that we could possibly use to help them out as well. So.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Sure.
The $1 million engineering, I assume we are the ones signing that contract.
Yes.
We're liable for 500,000. But Warsaw has said they'll pay.
Yes.
So how do I get them to pay it if they don't?
That's the next phase, is getting this final contract, to getting that in there. I'm assuming they're going to say it's the full faith and credit of the village, but you're right.
There's no way we can make them sign the contract agreeing to the engineering rather than us be a party of it? I don't
We've
want
asked
another ethanol plant.
Yeah, we've asked OEPA that, and since we're gonna own the final infrastructure, they're basically saying, no, if you're gonna be owning the infrastructure, you need to be responsible for everything.
Do we have attorneys working on this?
I just got it today, so, I'll get a copy to you and
We'll use
Doug.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll use Doug.
I just want to make sure that,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know how to, what do we take over Warsaw?
Right.
Yeah, valid point, this has been our concern all along, that all of a sudden the project comes in at 2 or 3 times the estimate. Well, wait a minute, we're not gonna do that, we don't wanna be on the hook for that money.
Yeah, I mean, and everybody will push us to do this, and they'll say, yeah, we'll pay it, but if this project doesn't happen, I just want to make sure that we're covered.
I totally agree.
Anybody have anything anything else?
Okay, for Max and the mayor, I had just a short conversation with Mrs. Abu tonight at the corner of 10th and Oak. And it looks really, really great. I mean, she is so pleased. She thanks you. She just wanted to pass
It
on
hasn't even
that.
started
And it's
raining
before
yet.
the,
I haven't even-
and it's
I haven't
before
even
the end of
seen
the
if it
year.
works.
You guys
Yeah,
did great.
I told
Man, brought it on the
you.
ground.
Yeah.
It brought on, yeah, but she said,
Actually, I told Max I wanted to see it rain real heavy. to
she
see
said
what
Lake
it
Abud
does,
is
so.
gone, so
Okay.
no more frogs.
Okay.
She's very thankful. She's very grateful you guys, so. I
It was,
appreciate- I also appreciate that.
It was probably one of the, I don't want to say it was the biggest public works project, but it was a bigger. We got into some service lines, some gas lines, some water lines,
Yeah.
some sewer taps.
Turned out to be a different
It
direction.
was,
than
yeah,
that seemed.
it was, I really wish we could have got funding to actually do a couple extra things, but I'm pleased with the job the Public Works Department
They
did
did
on
a
it.
great job.
It wasn't without struggle, but.
I'm sure.
I'm glad that that's done and it's on to the next one.
Max, the mayor mentioned the Kimball contract. I know previously there's been a lot of discussion about the possibility of having smaller trucks on some of our city streets because of the wear and tear on the streets. I was looking through the contract, and this happened before I was on council, so I don't know that I've got the correct contract that was signed, but there's a part in there that says that the contractor will provide for smaller trucks to be used on designated streets and alleys. A list of designated streets and alleys will be provided by the city. Is that something that we have approached them about? Are they?
We approached them early on in that contract. The problem was that they was worried about a lack of capacity going back and forth. So we kind of let it drop there. It was going to cost us more if smaller trucks.
Why would it cost us more?
Well, they have to make more trips, so their cost of fuel, labor and everything else goes up.
But they're under contract.
That's true, but
They signed the contract. They knew what it said.
No,
They're supposed to have known what it said.
Also, they say that, and this might come in handy for some of our downtown like the concert series or whatever, that they'll provide cardboard boxes for no charge for trash and recycling at special events. Do we take, I know the county puts out extra trash for the concerts, but maybe that's something we could take
we've
advantage
never
of.
asked them to do that. But that was my opinion.
Mhm. I was just, thank you.
Lately, and I can give you a little, lately, and really throughout this contract, they've been receptive. With an issue here or there, and me and Max, I want to get a total of any violations of the contract or any issues. I mean, we have them documented on email, like that I've personally dealt with. So,
Yeah, Well, I didn't, yeah, that wasn't a complaint on my part, but I just thought, you know, we've paid for paving on these streets and
Right.
if in their contract, they'll say that they will provide a smaller truck, I think they should.
Right.
Let me ask you this, on Stillwater Hill, I've been coming up in the morning now, before they're loaded. No,
No, they did 1 week.
right, we got.
So what are they doing, like 1 PM?
Maybe that's what they thought you meant.
Between the recycle was there just before noon and then the trash was, I don't know, 1:30 or so.
So a full truck.
Mhm.
3/4.
Yeah.
To 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
One thing I think we need to discuss as a group going forward for the extension or we redo it. However, is, are we really gaining anything with having a recycle? Putting twice the trucks out here. is what we-
Right, I mean, it really doubles that traffic.
But then somebody
Yeah,
else,
I
but
believe
then
in
somebody
recycling.
else said that, okay, now we do away with recycling. Now they're just gonna get bigger trucks in here
Right,
because
heavier,
we're just
right.
gonna throw it all in
Right.
one truck.
Right.
You know, I mean, you know,
When I go
it's a
like
double-edged
that,
sword.
the newer, where I think Rumpke. is
Yeah,
up there,
mhm.
They look like these are kind of a standard triac.
Right.
Waste away uses a smaller truck and they have a lot of.
Waste away does do a smaller truck.
Yeah. But they were like $6 difference on the
Yeah.
contract price too.
That's what, you know, what can we stand, you know, our residents stand as far as price.
Mhm.
I agree with Tom, you know, and that's been in the contract, we just haven't enforced the
Right.
contract. And, I know we talked a little bit about Zanesville has their own waste management program, but they're also, what was their, it's $38 a resident, you remember what their new proposal was? Either 35 or
Yeah,
38.
they
It
have
was
28 employees, like 4 or 5 trash trucks that they keep on the road, and the trash truck's $500,000.
It's almost double what we charge with their new rates, so.
And that's where I'm looking at rates to go. Probably, I mean, I think we're at 1670 something a month now. It's going to be pushing.
Now, if we
$30.
extend it, we need to enforce it. Which, you know, I think we're probably gonna have to extend it because of the rates,
Mhm.
but there's a rate locked in for 3 years.
Right.
If we're gonna extend it, we need to reach out to them because they may not agree to extend it.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
we need to find
what the
out
way things
soon.
are. Okay.
That's all.
Max, a resident on Northeast Main Street on the street where, is there a work order in for the curbing to divert the water so it doesn't go in his garage? Northeast, and I've told you about it before. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's
Up by Hathaway's.
17th,
Yeah,
so
he said something to me today. He thought that there was a work order, been a work order in.
there's- No, I'll get, it's that street.
That's it.
I know where
It's,
it's
You know where it is, Mark?
Marshall.
Hamilton.
Right
Yeah.
next door, I think. It would be
Yeah.
next to Charles' house.
I
Yeah.
know who it is, yeah.
Does anyone have any questions about the building permit ordinance that
Fine job.
I meet the administration's goals?
Yeah.
Everybody's happy with it?
Yes.
Anybody else have anything? Okay. See everybody in council, about 10, 15 minutes. Today's Monday, October 24th, 2022, 7 p.m. Regularly scheduled Coshocton City Council meeting. I'd like to welcome the Boy Scouts Troop 402 to our meeting tonight. This is part of their requirement, so welcome. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Andrew here, Barcroft.
Here.
Brooks.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Mishler.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Turner. Here.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Please stand for the invocation. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tom Johnson, thank you again for the opportunity to serve the city of Coshocton, be with us in everything we say and do tonight. We pray this in your name. Amen.
Council, your email the minutes from the October 10th council meeting. Any questions or comments?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes from October 10th.
Second.
Andrews. Call the roll. Andrews, seconded. Call the roll, please.
Andrew. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner. Yes.
Public input. Okay, we have a request. Administration, I need a motion to add resolution 1022 as a resolution authorizing Frederick Wachtel, Coshocton County Engineer, to prepare and submit an application to participate in the Ohio Public Works Commission State Capital Improvement and/or local transportation improvement programs and to execute contracts as required submitted by the Safety Service Director.
Make a motion.
Second. Barcroft. Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrew. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner. Yes.
Resolution 1022 is added to the agenda. Mayor? Add more to your report?
I actually spent quite a bit of time at apple butter stirring this weekend, and it was pretty exciting to see the fall colors. And I put my tie on, my once a year tie wearing and top hat, and marched about 100 princesses and queens into the village, and it was a great time. And I told everyone out there that the weather was brought to you by me. So if only I could keep it this way, I would. This weekend, just want to remind people, downtown, it's happening. There's a pub crawl Friday, I believe. Scarecrow Shuffle is Saturday. I definitely will not be running in that, but I'm sure Sherry will be. So the city will be well represented. So just want to let people know, go to our town's website, check it out. The most important thing of the year is happening Saturday, which will be trick or treat from 5 to 6:30 p.m. within the city. Want to remind residents, slow down and watch for the little ghouls and goblins. I might be out trick or treating. I don't know. I like candy too. So also want to welcome Troop 402, my home troop, I guess you would call it. Two of my sons have been in 402 since, a couple of years. I don't know, 10 years, 12 years. So I want to welcome 402 here. They are satisfying a merit badge for citizenship in the community. So it's a tongue twister. So just want to welcome them here. I know they're excited to be here, so they can see what you all do. So if you have any questions, I can answer those too. But see everyone at trick or treat.
Anything else? Max?
I don't have anything to add besides what we talked about this morning, other than we are beginning leaf pickup.
How
So
long that is, it's a secret. Not this morning.
Oh, sorry. This evening, sorry. We pick up starting in the city, so everybody be patient. We'll pick up leaves and right until Christmas, to get them all up, so we will get your leaves.
Well, Director Bob, you have anything?
I have nothing.
Thanks, sir. Auditors report, Sherry?
Just because you did ask me to repeat again here today, we had our post audit hearing at the end of September. And
Come
very
on up to
happy.
the microphone, please. Can't hear you.
Thanks. Say my name.
Yeah.
Thank you. We did have our post audit hearing at the end of September. And just pleased to, share with you, I know Tom was there, that the city is receiving the State Auditors Award again this year, 2 years in a row for a good, clean, perfect audit. So it takes, it takes the whole city to actually receive that award. It takes the department heads that, do their purchase orders properly. And it really does take all of us and my staff, Chris and Erica, to do that final check on a lot of this stuff to capture, what we need to do so we can achieve that rating and get that auditor's certificate award. And I'm not afraid to argue for it too, sometimes if we have to, to plead our case. And
You would never.
no, never. But, sometimes you do, you have valid points and, our auditors, the group that we have from the state of Ohio, we actually have them do our audit. We worked with them for many, many years. So I think who better, directly to have do your audit than the state auditors. So, we could have an outside firm, but let's go straight with the ones who really, that they know, and not that others don't know, but that's what we do. So yeah, congratulations to everybody on that. And then other than that, I just have your September reports that need to be approved in the minutes.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
Council also emailed her September report. Any questions or comments?
Make a motion to accept.
Andrews? Johnson, second. Call the roll, please.
Andrews.
Yes.
Barcroft.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Sheriff Crawford, anything to report?
Nothing to report, sir.
Thank you. Jeff, you have anything?
No.
Mr. Kadra, you have anything from the utilities?
Nothing to add from the work meeting.
Chief Dreyer?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I'll be in touch. Trying to pull the council. I think as soon as we feel that Mr. Mishler is able to navigate the stairs, we'll be trying to schedule a council meeting down there. That's
That'd
a
be great.
conversation. So it'll be
Glad to
awesome.
have you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll enter into legislation. We'll ask the clerk to give the first reading of ordinance 4722.
In order to amend chapter 705 of the ordinances of the city of Coshocton.
For the first reading of ordinance 4722, any questions or comments? 4722 will take its course. I'll ask the clerk to give the first reading of ordinance 4822.
An ordinance to amend chapter 1305 of the ordinances of the city of Coshocton.
For the first reading of ordinance 4822, any questions or comments? 4822 will take its course. Okay, ordinance 4922, I need a motion to amend section 3 to add $16,500 to that ordinance.
So moved.
Andrews, seconded Moore. Call the roll, please.
Andrews.
Yes.
Barcroft.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Johnson. Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Okay, I'll ask the clerk to give the first reading of ordinance 4922.
Appropriation.
For the first reading of ordinance 4922, any questions or comments?
Make a motion to suspend the rules and go straight to.
I'll second it.
Andrews, Turner. Clerk, please give the third read, or please call the roll.
Andrews.
Yes.
Barcroft.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Clerk, give the third reading. Please give the third reading of ordinance 4922.
Appropriation.
Questions or comments? Question is, should ordinance 4922 pass? Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews.
Yes.
Barcroft.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Ordinance 4922 is passed. I'll ask the clerk to give the first reading of ordinance 5022.
Transfer.
You've heard the first reading of ordinance 5022. Any questions or comments?
Make a motion to suspend the rules and give it a third reading.
Johnson, second. Barcroft. Call the roll, please.
Andrews.
Yes.
Barcroft.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Clerk, please give the third reading of ordinance 5022.
Transfer.
Questions, comments? Question is, should ordinance 5022 pass? Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews.
Yes.
Barcroft.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Ordinance 5022 is passed. The legislation at the second or third reading, resolution. Clerk, please give the reading of resolution 1022.
A resolution authorizing Fred T. Wachtell, Coshocton County Engineer, to prepare and submit an application to participate in the Ohio Public Works Commission State Capital Improvement and/or Local Transportation Improvement Program and to execute contract as required.
So the question is, should ordinance 1022 be adopted? Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews.
Yes.
Barcroft.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Resolution 1022 is adopted. And old business, the new business. Communications, anybody have any communications? Okay. Clerk, when is the date and time of our next meeting?
November 14th, 7 o'clock.
Committee to begin at 5:30. Need a motion for the meeting to be adjourned.
So moved.
Andrews. Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews.
Yes.
Barcroft.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Meeting is adjourned.